How is again? A third video. Yeah, man. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Here we are now on 3, 2, 1. You could do this all shit with his fingers. He must have been really good at sex, I'd imagine. Anyway, we had Ferrero Rocher knobs and now this. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood today, but not a bad mood, but a weird mood. I just bumped into John Waters and his lovely wife there, Rita, and apparently the gigs that the talks we were supposed to do in England will happen after Christmas, so I'll keep you. There's definitely some stuff coming on in England after Christmas, so I'll keep you informed on that, and I'm even hearing rumours of possible dates in America. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so today is one of those days that really brings it home to that we're really in the end. You know, this is like the Kali Yuga. We're spiraling into something. It's coming to an end. I know the world's always been mad, but it just seems so unbelievably mad and pointlessly mad at the moment. You know, I saw a documentary about New York City in the 70s and the early 80s and the total collapse of the place. But there was in that madness was also art and excitement and culture, and you know, like the collapse, same as in like this part of the world, like the collapse in the 70s following the Arab oil embargo, really affected Ireland and Britain. Britain was affected more by the miners' strikes and things like that, and the 3-day work weeks and that kind of thing. But we got punk rock, you know. We got like amazing music came out of it. This collapse is just a collapse with nothing. TikTok dancing, nothing of value or worth. It's just, but you occasionally come across stories that, just like, you know, doesn't that sum the world up the way it is now? And I saw 2 of them today. The first one was a beautiful 29-year-old girl in Holland went into a suicide pod. Perfectly healthy, really pretty, at the encouragement of psychiatrists, and is now being hailed as a hero, of course, by the eugenicists masquerading as public health officials, that she took a brave decision. Now, apparently she'd suffered from anxiety and depression. And so what? So loads of people do. I understand, you know, that some people who go to suicide that length, they think that their families and friends would be better off without them. The world is better off without them. Like, I always find it shocking that a man can have like a wife and 2 kids, and he's depressed, and everything else is fine. Then he kills himself. But I think, like, I used to be like, you know, what the fuck? You know, but then you realise that they, probably because of, like, pop psychology and things like that, they probably think that their families would be better off without the misery guts around them. But anyway, a 29-year-old beautiful Dutch girl, just topped herself, got into the suicide pod. And so few people are... Seems that more people are like, wow, what a brave girl, than like, just the fact that then saying this is awful, why didn't someone help her? I do know some people can't be helped, but I tend to be among the latter, that, you know, she could have probably been talked out of it, and she's lasted another couple of weeks. But she would have had all these psychiatrists who now it's fashionable now for psychiatrists to tell you to enter the suicide pod. Speaking of suicide pod, they're literally going up the crematorium chimney pipes at the moment at an unbelievable rate, from these turbo cancers and from mostly from the turbo cancers, which we all know all started after the rooster, the foghorn leghorn. They're literally flying up the crematorium chimneys by the thousands. You literally every day on anyone's social media. And it's like nearly always, we know about it because it's like celebrities, wives or friends or celebrities, or somebody dropped dead. Or, you know, if there's not myocarditis, it's turbo cancers. And up the fucking crematorium flue pipe. And that's, you know, that's just in Ireland, and you multiply it by all the other countries. You know, it's unbelievable. And as I was thinking this, I'm going through my scrolling down my YouTube videos, and there's a video of Dr. Tony Holohan, the COVID czar in Ireland, flogging some kind of heart medication, and he's holding like a plastic heart. It's really fucking creepy. This is the guy who was like the mastermind of the lockdowns and everything. And after before that, there was a cervical cancer scandal that he was heavily involved in. When he tried to run for president and stepped out of his like safety zone, establishment safety zone, the amount of people said, "You must be out of your fucking mind. You think we'd vote for you?" It was universal. And then he tried to make it that he attacked his family, when not one single post attacked his family from what I saw. All I saw were people, you got some fucking nerve. And a lot of people calling him a narcissist and this kind of thing. Anyway, so that was weird how he popped up when I was thinking about that. It's almost like, you know, magic becomes more of a power as the world collapses into chaos, because energy becomes more free fall, and it's flying around. This is why during wars you have the occult so strong and things like that. But yeah, so that was the first one. The second one was, there's a guy serving time in prison in Germany for picking up a gay guy. They were gay, I guess, you know, not because they're gay. I'm just saying he was gay, and he picked up a guy, and he became his boyfriend, and his fantasy was to have his penis cut off and eaten in front of him. So the guy cut off the penis, fried it. The two of them ate it, and the other guy watched him die. Now, they're trying to get this guy out of prison because the fella that he cut his willy off and ate, that's one of these real, you know, that's enough internet for me today story. The guy who, you know, I won't be having sausages for my tea tonight, or Ferrero Rochers, but, yeah. They're trying to get him out because the guy whose willy he chopped off, it was consensual. I mean, that guy should be, you know, that guy should never be allowed back onto the streets ever again. And then it turns out, then there was a third story, that there was some guy who was harassing, his surname was Ireland, that's why I remembered it, and I was like, thank God he wasn't Irish. But he'd been harassing J.K. Rowling over the whole trans thing. He just got 30 years in prison for molesting children, which, you know, ties in perfectly with, you know, Christian Morris's long-term assertion of it being, you know, basically a paedophile cult. Trying to, like, legalising paedophilia by the back. That's why politicians love it. That's why politicians love the trans thing, because the chance to legalise paedophilia. You know, Desmond is amazing and all that. Yeah. The Christian Morris is way ahead of the curve on that one. But, it's just fucking shit. Christian Morris made a fantastic thing this week on social media about how he was on holiday somewhere in the west of Ireland, I think in Kerry or Cork, and he saw like literally an American couple being abused by like Irish people, saying, just be, you know, you got Trump in power now, oh, you stupid fucking Americans and all this kind of thing. And these thick fucking clueless middle class Irish who think they know it all because they watch RTE News, assuming that everyone in America is a moron because Trump is president. Look at the fucking things we've elected here. Catherine Connolly, the bag lady in chief, spent her whole time campaigning, talking about Gaza. For fuck's sake, well, it has nothing to do with us. We're not, you know, other than Sinn Féin saying common struggle. My common struggle with the Gazans is to get the fuck away from them. And, you know, and when she gets into office, the first thing she says is we have to fight the evils of climate change. And then you have the same Irish who voted for her going, why is my electricity bill so high? You know, and he was right. Christian Morris talking about these same fuckers are now hassling American tourists when they come to Ireland. Like, you know, you're all fucking idiots over there because you have Trump. Trump's a fucking head case. He's not. You don't have it together like we do here in Ireland, voting for the fucking bag lady in chief. But Catherine Connolly looks like the fucking crypt keeper from Tales from the Crypt. Do you ever notice that? And I was watching that Leprechaun 2 movie. You ever watch those Leprechaun films? They're very funny. They're kind of like comedy horrors, but they're very great entertainment. Well, I watched Leprechaun 2 last night because it was one of the ones I haven't seen. And it was set in like St. Patrick's Day in Los Angeles. And he comes to collect his bride, this girl called Bridget, that he was denied 1,000 years previously in Ireland. And it was a really good story. Like, he emerged from a tree that had been planted in an oak tree or something had been given to Harry Houdini on his Irish tour, and it said something like a gift from the people of Ireland to Harry Houdini. And Harry Houdini had planted the tree on his property in Los Angeles, but the leprechaun was in there waiting to come out. And it was just the usual. The guy, Warwick Davis. Wow, what an actor he was. I think he died recently. But he played the leprechaun. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, what they should give guys Oscars for films like. But I was watching that, and it was like he would do poetry, like, like that. I don't know if you've seen Leprechaun in Space when he comes out of the guy's dick. It's the funniest fucking thing. It's like he comes out of the guy's penis. And he goes, let that be a lesson to you. Always use a prophylactic. But this one, where's me ball? It was Michael D. Higgins. You watch those Leprechaun films, and Higgins being a poet, and the leprechaun talks in verse, Well, it seems to me, that you think you're cool, but you'll find out when I come out of ye tool. Okay, goodbye.